Well, at some point, you've got to realize that and wake up into the reality that you're living in a world that is completely fake. And then you all start asking questions, and then we start seeking some truth. And then when we find it, we realize, like, oh, not only is the world not real, but all my ideas of who I am, what love is, or what life is all about, are also completely made up. Hey, I'm just making this video to, I suppose, show and remind that, even when everything's going really, really well, and sometimes especially when life is going really, really well, like, we're still human beings. We're still gonna feel things deeply, and it's not wrong to be experiencing really beautiful high highs, and for the amount of energy that's coming through, and the power of that energy that comes through, naturally, as it moves up through the body, it's going to lift with it everything. Love lifts everything. I'm feeling right now just this wave of a little bit of sadness, and there's no story attached to it. Like, there was something that just happened that triggered it, and I don't even really like using the word like triggered anymore. I think it's more accurate to say that sometimes interactions reveal, like, rather than triggering something, it's actually revealing something. And so what's revealed to me this morning was a little bit of sadness, a little bit of grief, some tears, that, like the rising tide, love lifts everything. Like literally like the tide, it lifts all boats, all vessels, all ships. As we elevate and lift grief and sadness up into love, it blossoms and expresses into tears, into laughter, into an expression, just any kind of expression that it wants to be. So that now I feel like I mean, I could sit and indulge in some more crying if I wanted to, because I can tap into that realm and just be with it, and it's blissful for me. It's alchemy. Beginning of this year, when I took 3 months off of smoking weed after being really abusive with it, to avoid, like I usually do, or like I have done previously, avoid this big expansion. It's like, it's part of me gets so scared about being successful because I'm so scared that I'm going to experience the pain of it all being taken away again. So it's like, right, to avoid the pain of potentially losing it all, let us not even play the game. Let us just hide away. And that's not what I'm here to do. So that gets just as painful and depressing. And then I use weed to cope with that, and then too much weed and I can't feel my feelings because I'm numb. And now and so I took 3 months off through January, February, March, which is why I was crying and grieving and processing and doing deep alchemical transformative work within my body every day, several times a day for months. Now it's like once or twice a week, I'll just have a moment where something is revealed that wants to be alchemized and processed. And I'm like, whoa, this is just me. This is just being a human being now. I just get to live my life, feel my feelings when they come up. And those feelings open my heart, calm my nervous system down, bring me into more presence, and open me up to connect more deeply with myself and everybody around me in life. More connection, more truth, more love, more feeling, more humanity, more reality, and more of who you actually are, more of who I actually am. This is who I actually am. I'm not trying to like put on this face and this front. Just be myself. It's easy. But you know what it's not easy for sometimes, right? Especially if because for me, I've spent my whole life being whoever I think I need to be to keep the people happy around me. Of course, it's all infused inevitably with my authentic self as well, but to varying degrees. So sometimes we make connections with people where the connection is not founded on complete authenticity. Does that make sense? When we're much younger, we don't really know who we are. I didn't know who I was. And so I was being who I thought I was, and then I was creating these connections with people, and then maybe I see them a year later and I've become more of who I am and less of that like persona that I was sort of being, and they're like, oh, I thought I knew you. I'm like, no, you knew a version of me in that moment from many years ago that wasn't actually even me. So do you want to meet me again now? Because this is who I am in this moment, and I might be different next year as well, probably. As we go on year by year, different just means more of who I actually am, and less pretending, less inauthenticity, less waste of time and energy trying to be who everybody around me wants me to be, and much more free-flowing, organic expression of and creation of myself moment to moment. Way more fun. Anyway, I'm making this video today because this is what I'm also here to do. I'm not only here to feel deeply and do the alchemy for myself so that I can expand and continue to evolve and grow and become more of, or just reveal who I've always been, but also to share that with you, to remind you, hey, it's okay if you go from having the best weekend of your life to like having a big cry the next day. Of course, the love that you're feeling is lifting, the tide lifts all the ships and will lift that sadness up beautifully. The tears are just so sacred and beautiful that come from an authentic grieving session. What is it with Pisces and enjoying the realms of these more deep, mystical, unknown, uncharted parts of the map? The deep waters. I saw something saying that ChatGPT, there are people that are getting into like a spiritual psychosis because they're chatting too much with ChatGPT, and AI is basically like putting people into a psychosis. These people are due a psychosis. Psychosis is part of spiritual awakening, because at some point, if you're really seeking truth, which probably people are with ChatGPT, right? Because it's so good at instant conversation, but they would also find themselves in a state of psychosis if they went and did an ayahuasca retreat, or if they went and studied depth psychology at university. Like, psychosis is an inevitable part of a spiritual awakening. When we start swimming in the deeper waters, we swim with delight in these realms, whereas a normal mind that isn't initiated and trained, the realization that everything you think is true is not true, that's quite a big part of the awakening. That's going to bring people into a state of psychosis. It's perfectly natural. However, we need support systems around us so that when we realize the truth that all of our concepts, all of our formulas, all of our frameworks, all of our ideas and our maps about who we are and how to navigate life, when all of that dissolves into the truth and you don't have a fucking clue who you are or where you are or what you're doing or if any of this is even real, that's psychosis, which is an inevitable and important stage of awakening, because at some point you've got to work it out. At some point you've got to tap into that truth. At some point you've got to realize that who you think you are doesn't actually exist. And it's uncomfortable, it's painful, it's scary. It's just part of how it is. Depending on like how gnarly the situation is of someone's psychotic episode or break and what kind of support they have around them, hopefully it will lead to their awakening, and they will be supported in their spiritual awakening and supported in their madness. Because you've got to be mad. You've got to, like, it takes getting mad to extract yourself from the fucking mad system, the insanity of the empire and how it operates. You've got to be mad. You've got to get mad. You've got to become a mad human being and have a little psychotic break to realize, like, oh, whoa, it's actually the system that is insane. It's actually this paradigm of ignorance that is ego-driven, power-hungry, parasitic, and completely fucking everything up. It's quite hard to realize that you've not only been participating in that, but agreeing to it and helping create it. So touching truth, coming into contact with deeper truths, more universal truths, capital T truths, undeniable truths, Yeah, mystical people swim with delight in the waters that most people would fucking drown in. And you know why? It's because we had to learn to swim. It's because we had to learn to swim. Consider yourself an enjoyer of the great mystery, a mystic, like I do. Well, at some point, you've got to realize that and wake up into the reality that you're living in a world that is all completely fake. And then you start asking questions, and then we start seeking some truth, and then when we find it, we realize like, oh, not only is the world not real, but all my ideas of who I am, what love is, or what life is all about, are also completely made up. And some people will go, whoa, what delight, this is incredible. That means I can just continue making it up as I go along and nothing ever actually really matters, and I can just love people and be myself and enjoy my life and be authentic and have a great time. And other people will go, and then break. It's because with the mental side of things, we are literally in a society that creates environments where minds are destroyed rather than strengthened and supported through something like a psychosis. Well, thanks for tuning into this little update video. I'm sending you lots of love and permission to feel your feelings. This will always be the message. This will always be one of the key fundamental messages that I will be infusing into all of my content. Feel your feelings. Be a human being. Come join us. You're probably already doing it. I'm pretty sure my audience has shifted so much by now that I'm actually magnetizing and attracting people like me. Like I did over the years, right? I was attracting people just like me. And now, me is very different.